Stop doing what mainstream medicine has been telling you to do for the last 40 years. Stop pushing your plate away at dinner, thinking that eating less is somehow going to help you live longer. They have been completely lying to you. The medical establishment, well-meaning as they might be, has convinced an entire generation that as you cross the thresholds of 60, 65, and 70 years of age, you need to start eating like a bird to protect your heart and your kidneys. That is the single biggest nutrition lie people still believe today, and it is actively robbing you of your independence, your mobility, and your mind. Researchers at the University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences recently published a landmark clinical study that completely shatters this mainstream narrative. They tracked thousands of older adults over the age of 65 and found something terrifying. Seniors who followed the standard advice to restrict their intake of certain nutrient-dense foods actually suffered a 42% higher rate of dangerous muscle wasting and a staggering 55% increased risk of all-cause mortality over a 10-year period. Let that sink in for a moment. The exact restrictive diet you were told would save your life is actually accelerating your aging process on a cellular level. Today, I am going to reveal the exact 6 foods you need to be eating to reverse this damage and reclaim your vitality. We are counting down from 6 to 1, ranked from least to most powerful. And I promise you, what I have waiting at number 1 is going to completely shock you. It is a controversial food you have probably been explicitly warned to avoid by your own doctor, yet it contains a specific compound your aging brain and muscles are literally starving for. Do not skip ahead because the synergy between these items, how they work together in your body, is where the true magic happens. But before we dive in, I want to hear from you directly. Stop what you are doing right now, scroll down to the comments section, and tell me your age, where you are watching from, and the one physical activity you want to keep doing until you are 100 years old. Is it playing on the floor with your grandchildren, spending hours in your garden, or simply walking up a flight of stairs without losing your breath? Leave it in the comments below. I read every single comment because your stories and your victories are the exact reason why I do this work. Coming in at number 6 on our countdown is a food so undeniably powerful, yet so deeply overlooked, that pharmaceutical companies have spent billions of dollars trying to synthesize its exact biological effects into a prescription pill. I am talking about wild-caught, bone-in sardines. You might turn your nose up at them, but these tiny fish are the ultimate weapon against chronic systemic inflammation. As we age, our bodies lose the ability to put out the microscopic fires burning inside our cells. In fact, after the age of 75, your body loses roughly 35% of its natural ability to resolve cellular inflammation automatically. Think of inflammation like a smoldering fire in the basement of your house. You might not see the flames in your living room, but the smoke is slowly ruining everything you own. Sardines are packed with 2 specific types of omega-3 fatty acids called EPA and DHA, but they deliver them in a highly bioavailable whole food matrix that pills simply cannot match. When you consume these specific marine lipids, they act like a fleet of emergency delivery trucks, rushing directly into your joints and your brain tissue to extinguish that smoldering fire. Take my patient Arthur, for example. Arthur is 74 years old, living in Cleveland, Ohio. When he first came to me, his knees were so inflamed with osteoarthritis that he had to physically lift his legs with his hands just to get out of his car. He was taking ibuprofen like it was candy, completely wrecking his stomach lining in the process. We got Arthur off the synthetic painkillers and put him on a protocol of just 1 tin of wild-caught sardines packed in extra virgin olive oil every single day. Within 6 weeks, the swelling in his knees had reduced by nearly half. By month 3, he was walking his golden retriever 2 miles a day without a single grimace. To get these exact results, you need to eat sardines that still have the skin and bones intact, because those tiny bones provide a highly absorbable form of marine calcium that your aging skeleton desperately needs. The optimal dosage is 3 to 4 tins per week. And here is your specific synergy tip to maximize absorption. Always squeeze fresh lemon juice over your sardines and sprinkle them with freshly ground black pepper. The vitamin C in the lemon juice enhances the absorption of the trace minerals, while the piperine in the black pepper dramatically boosts the anti-inflammatory cascade in your gut. Moving on to number 5, we have the ultimate biological antidote to a silent condition that is quietly dissolving your muscle tissue right at this very moment. I am talking about high-quality whey protein isolate, specifically for its massive concentration of an amino acid called leucine. Mainstream medicine loves to tell seniors to cut back on protein because they falsely claim it damages aging kidneys. Unless you have pre-existing late-stage kidney failure, this is a dangerous myth. The real danger is a condition called anabolic resistance. Imagine your muscles are a radio, and the signal telling them to grow and repair is the broadcast. In your 20s, that radio volume is cranked all the way up. By the time you reach 70, your muscles have become deaf to the signal. The volume is turned way down, and normal amounts of protein simply do not register anymore. Researchers at McMaster University, a leading institution in muscle metabolism, discovered that a 70-year-old needs roughly triple the amount of leucine in a single meal to trigger the exact same muscle protein synthesis as a 20-year-old. If you do not hit that specific leucine threshold, your body will literally cannibalize your own leg and back muscles to get the amino acids it needs to keep your heart beating. Whey protein isolate is the single most concentrated source of pure leucine on the planet. Just one scoop provides the exact 3-gram leucine trigger required to blast through the wall of anabolic resistance and force your aging muscles to repair themselves. You should be mixing 1 scoop of unflavored, grass-fed whey protein isolate into a glass of water or almond milk within 30 minutes of your first meal of the day. Do not use the sugary, artificially flavored garbage sold at the grocery store. Look for pure isolate. And for your synergy tip, you must pair your whey protein with a potent source of vitamin D3. Vitamin D acts like the key that unlocks your muscle cells, allowing the leucine from the whey protein to enter and do its repair work. Without adequate vitamin D, half of that expensive protein is simply going to waste. At number 4 is a living, breathing food matrix that holds the absolute secret to reversing the age-related decline of your immune system and your memory. We are talking about genuine traditional milk kefir, not the sugar-laden yogurt you find in the dairy aisle, but real fermented kefir. As you cross your 60th birthday, the diversity of the bacteria in your gut begins to collapse. Think of your microbiome like a vibrant, colorful coral reef. When you are young, it is teeming with thousands of different species working in harmony. As you age, due to antibiotics, stress, and poor dietary advice, that beautiful reef bleaches and dies, turning into a barren wasteland overrun by toxic weeds. This gut collapse is directly linked to Alzheimer's disease, autoimmune conditions, and severe depression, because the gut and the brain are physically connected by the vagus nerve. Kefir contains up to 60 different strains of beneficial bacteria and yeast, making it vastly superior to standard yogurt. These microscopic organisms literally set up a defensive perimeter in your intestines, producing specialized compounds called short-chain fatty acids that travel up the vagus nerve and directly lower inflammation in your brain. Let me tell you about Margaret. Margaret is 69 years old from Austin, Texas. She was suffering from such severe brain fog that she started putting sticky notes all over her house just to remember to turn off the stove. She was terrified she was developing dementia. We overhauled her diet and introduced 1 cup of full-fat, unsweetened plain kefir every morning on an empty stomach. The transformation was nothing short of miraculous. The probiotics in the kefir restored her gut lining, stopped the systemic inflammation that was clouding her brain, and within 2 months, the sticky notes were gone. Her mind was sharp, quick, and present again. To implement this yourself, you need to drink 4 to 6 ounces of authentic kefir daily. Do not heat it or you will kill the living cultures. Your synergy tip here is absolutely crucial. Probiotics are living creatures and they need food to survive in your harsh digestive tract. Always pair your morning kefir with a prebiotic fiber, such as a handful of raw walnuts or a side of lightly steamed asparagus. This fiber acts as fertilizer, allowing the beneficial bacteria from the kefir to permanently colonize your gut, rather than just passing through. If you are finding value in this video so far, and if you are realizing that the old rules of aging simply do not apply anymore, please take a brief second to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. By subscribing, you are joining a community of people who refuse to just fade away quietly, people who are taking active control of their health and their future. Breaking into our top 3, we find a liquid gold that is revered in the Mediterranean, but we are looking for a very specific medicinal grade fat that acts like a biological fire extinguisher in your central nervous system. Number 3 is high polyphenol extra virgin olive oil. The massive lie you have been told is that all fats make you fat and clog your arteries, leading to heart attacks. This catastrophic lie led to the low-fat craze of the 90s, which absolutely decimated the neurological health of an entire generation. Your brain is made of nearly 60% fat. When you starve an aging brain of high-quality fats, it physically shrinks. What makes authentic extra virgin olive oil so miraculous is a highly specific, naturally occurring chemical compound called oleocanthal. Temple University School of Medicine recently conducted a groundbreaking study showing that oleocanthal acts like a microscopic power washer inside your brain. It physically targets and breaks down amyloid beta plaques, the sticky, toxic proteins that accumulate in the brain tissue of Alzheimer's patients. Oleocanthal operates on the exact same inflammatory pathways as ibuprofen, but without destroying your kidneys or your stomach lining. To get this benefit, you cannot use cheap, processed olive oil in a clear plastic bottle. It must be cold-pressed, extra virgin, and packaged in dark glass. When you swallow it, it should actually burn the back of your throat slightly. That peppery, burning sensation is the physical manifestation of the oleocanthal actively working. You should be consuming 2 tablespoons of this high-quality oil raw every single day. Do not cook with this specific medicinal dose because high heat will destroy the delicate polyphenols. Instead, pour it over your meals right before eating. And for the synergy tip, you must pair your daily olive oil with dark leafy greens like spinach or kale. The fat-soluble vitamins inside the greens, specifically vitamin K, cannot be absorbed by your body unless they are accompanied by a high-quality dietary fat. The olive oil unlocks the greens, and the greens provide the structural framework your brain needs to heal. Coming in at number 2 is the ultimate cellular janitor, a deeply pigmented compound that actually repairs the dying engines inside your cells. I am talking about pure tart cherry extract, specifically for its massive concentration of anthocyanins. To understand why this is so critical, you have to understand what aging actually is at the microscopic level. Inside every single cell in your body, you have tiny power plants called mitochondria. When you are young, these power plants burn clean energy. But as you cross into your 70s and 80s, these mitochondria become damaged and dysfunctional. Think of them like an old car engine belching thick black smoke. This mitochondrial exhaust causes massive oxidative stress, leading to deep, chronic fatigue, terrible sleep quality, and a profound lack of physical energy. Tart cherries contain a staggering amount of anthocyanins, which are the dark red pigments that give the fruit its color. These compounds penetrate deep into the cell and physically repair those damaged mitochondria, clearing away the metabolic rust and getting your cellular engines running smoothly again. I saw this firsthand with a patient named Richard, a 78-year-old retired pilot living in Tampa, Florida. Richard had lost his zest for life. He was sleeping terribly, waking up exhausted, and dragging his feet all day. His doctor told him it was just a normal part of getting older. I completely rejected that. We started Richard on a highly concentrated organic tart cherry extract every evening. Because tart cherries are also one of the few natural sources of bioavailable melatonin, the synergy was instant. Within 10 days, Richard was sleeping soundly through the night for the first time in a decade. His mitochondrial function skyrocketed, and he went from napping in his recliner all afternoon to rejoining his local golf league. To use this effectively, you want either a pharmaceutical-grade tart cherry capsule or 2 tablespoons of unsweetened, cold-pressed tart cherry concentrate mixed into a glass of water. Take it exactly 1 hour before you intend to go to sleep. Your synergy tip for number 2 is to pair your tart cherry extract with a small handful of pumpkin seeds. The magnesium packed inside the pumpkin seeds relaxes the physical tension in your central nervous system, creating the perfect biological environment for the tart cherry anthocyanins to repair your cells while you sleep deeply. And finally, we have reached number 1, the biggest truth teller on our list, the food you have been lied to about the most aggressively. The food your primary care doctor probably told you to severely restrict or cut out entirely to save your heart. Number 1 is grass-fed, pasture-raised red meat, specifically beef. For decades, the medical establishment demonized red meat, blaming it for everything from high cholesterol to heart attacks. But advanced nutritional biochemistry has proven that naturally raised, grass-fed beef is arguably the most nutrient-dense superfood an aging human being can possibly consume. Here is why the lie is so dangerous. As you age, your absolute biggest existential threat is not slightly elevated cholesterol. Your biggest threat is frailty. It is sarcopenia, the total loss of skeletal muscle mass, and osteopenia, the crumbling of your bones. A fall at age 80 is often a death sentence. To prevent frailty, your body requires 2 distinct elements that are incredibly difficult to get in sufficient quantities from any other food source: dietary creatine and bioavailable heme iron. Think of your body like a skyscraper. The creatine in grass-fed beef provides the raw, energetic spark to keep the elevators running, and the heme iron is the structural steel that keeps the building from collapsing. Plant-based iron is poorly absorbed, with your body utilizing less than 5% of it. Heme iron from beef is absorbed at an astonishing rate, immediately rushing oxygen directly into your brain tissue and your muscle fibers. Furthermore, the natural creatine found in grass-fed beef has been definitively shown in clinical trials to improve short-term memory, processing speed, and executive function in older adults. Let me share the story of Evelyn. Evelyn is an 82-year-old grandmother from Grand Rapids, Michigan. She had become so frail on a doctor-recommended low-fat, low-meat diet that she could no longer open jars or stand up from her chair without using her arms. She was pale, constantly freezing cold, and deeply depressed by her physical decline. I convinced her to ignore the outdated advice and start eating 4 to 6 ounces of high-quality grass-fed ground beef just 3 times a week. We did not even change anything else. The transformation was staggering. The influx of highly absorbable heme iron restored the color to her cheeks. The natural creatine and dense amino acids rebuilt her leg strength. 6 months later, Evelyn was not only standing up without assistance, but she was actively lifting 10-pound dumbbells in her living room. She went from frail and fearful to fierce and independent. When preparing grass-fed beef, you must remember that it is much leaner than conventional feedlot beef. Do not overcook it, or it will become incredibly tough and hard to digest. Cook it slowly on a lower heat. And here is your ultimate synergy tip to maximize this superfood. Always marinate your grass-fed beef in an acidic base, like fresh lemon juice or raw apple cider vinegar before cooking. As we age, our stomach acid naturally becomes much weaker, making it difficult to break down dense proteins. The acidic marinade pre-digests the meat fibers and dramatically increases your body's ability to extract every single microgram of zinc, iron, and B vitamins hidden inside. Think about what is really at stake here today. This is not just about trying a new diet or following a new health trend. This is about your fundamental independence. It is about waking up every single morning and trusting your body to do what you ask of it. It is about walking out of your front door without the fear of falling, carrying your own groceries into the house, and having the sharp, clear mental energy to engage in deep, meaningful conversations with the people you love. The medical establishment told you to shrink. They told you to eat less, to avoid the powerful, nutrient-dense foods that your body was literally begging for, and to just accept a slow, steady decline into frailty as a normal part of getting older. But you do not have to accept that. It is never, ever too late to rewrite the ending of your story. Whether you are 65, 75, or 85, your cells possess an unbelievable, miraculous capacity to heal and rebuild themselves if you simply provide them with the right raw materials. Stop believing the lie. Start fueling your body with the respect and the powerful nutrition it truly deserves. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss out on the vital, life-saving information we share on this channel. And I want to leave you with one final question for the comment section down below. Which of these 6 foods surprised you the absolute most? And which one are you going to start adding to your daily routine tomorrow morning? Let me know in the comments, and remember that all the scientific references and studies I mentioned today are linked in the video description below. Stay strong, stay informed, and never let anyone tell you that your best days are behind you.